Hi there. Just wanted to leave a message here for pretty much all of us that are experiencing this massive shift. We've been talking about this since 24, end of Kali Yuga. Last year, we saw a lot of things shift and change. Uh, we know when we go online, there's so much information being shared around 2026. Now, I think if you zoom out and you remember 2012 and you remember 2000 Y2K, you remember 1984. Um, those of us that can go back and reflect, there has always been a very hyperbolic. This is the year. This is when everything shifts. This is when everything breaks down. There has never been a time like this. Well, that simply isn't the case. Um, there really is nothing new under the sun. We are here again, at different convergence points, and we have done that systematically throughout millennia, millions of years of our history. We are far older than 200,000 years old, and this planet is far older than the estimate. I think it's 9.2 billion years, far, far older. And so there have been many, many seismic shifts, and the planet continues, and humans continue, and everything in creation recalibrates and reformats. That's not to say this isn't an interesting time. It is. And there is definitely a shaking of the tree. And what I heard this morning is pretty much it's time for humans to graduate. It's time for us to grow up as a species. It's time for us to reach metaphysical maturity. And I just heard it ends with us, and I would flip that coin and say it starts with us. It ends with us. It starts with us. What do I mean? I mean, there are some pretty big problems on this planet, and they're not, while their root is a spiritual malaise, that's certainly true. They're real problems. They're problems that can be solved if we roll our sleeves up and we all get involved. We have incarnated here not just to grab the popcorn and watch the greatest show in town. We got the ability to have a human body, which is an extremely rare event to descend and to have a human body and to be around at these convergence points. Again, end of Kali Yuga, start of a new era, extremely valuable um, eras, points, markers in the collective consciousness. So it's a participatory experience. And so there is much to be done. There is so much division out there. You can really cut the pie pretty much every which way, whether it's political, whether it's religious, ideological, whether it's about the economy, relationships. It really doesn't matter. There are schisms, and those schisms are good because the old institutions have to be removed, and everything that we relied on previously has to make way for what's coming in and new. Um, but there's a lot of pragmatic stuff. We're literally building a new earth, and that means it's a real job. All right. So it ends with us. So what ends with us? Well, maybe being propagandized into a phony war ends with us. Maybe being lied to and bamboozled by left right politicians who actually ultimately work for the same puppet masters ends with us. Maybe animal abuse, maybe child abuse, maybe sexual abuse ends with us. In other words, why should we tolerate it anymore? Why should we be apathetic? Why should we even think this is how it always is, has been, and always will be? It simply as isn't true. We have the ability, we have a window, we can take the momentum of this age, we can seize the power of change. We can get out there and we can say, not in my name, no more. And then we can also look at all the choices that we make every single day that hold up these systems. There's some really, really good people online who talk about just your consumption, everybody's consumption. Well, what do you buy? What do you consume? Where does it come from? Who makes it? Where's your money? What services do you use that perhaps fund um, movements and advancements that you don't agree with? Um, one of the things that's going to come up for 2026, and I'm time stamping this now, but let's say it could be any time over the next 5 years. We're looking at a 5 year window now, starting from this year, 2026, is this idea of accountability, this idea, and it's connected with purification, and not so much in the Old Testament um, way of, sackcloth and ashes, self-flagellation, beating ourselves up on our hands and knees. Purification is literally just burning off everything that is incoherent. So the more you practice coherence, you simply cannot tolerate incoherence. So if you say one thing, okay, I believe this, this is what I stand for, but you're also embedded in an institution or organization or society or whatever it is. There's no judgment here. It's just a fact. It's just about housekeeping. Um, that incoherence is gonna mess with your vibe, and you're gonna be shaky, and you're gonna be like, well, I'm doing everything right. How come? But you're really, and when I say you, I mean all of us. We, all of us have to go full spectrum now. It's 360 now. It's not about, here's my spiritual life. This is so pleasurable for me. I love this. This is my little sacred place. And then I have all these other things going on over here. I don't need to worry about. It's not about that now. So it really is about integrating, not just walking your talk. It's about walking your talk. It's about housekeeping. It's about an audit. It's about how embedded are you in this system, and this sense of we're all responsible. We are all responsible for everything, no matter how virtuously we live, how awake, lucid, ascended we are. We're going to be shown so many times this year coming. It's going to be, it will become a little bit unbearable. This mirror, these blind spots. People, places, things are going to show you where you're not paying attention, where you haven't done, like I said, you haven't done your audit. We haven't done our audit. And trust me, I know a lot of you are experiencing this. I've been experiencing this where everything boomerangs back on me now. It's like immediate. It's almost like instant karma. It's like immediate. And so it's painful. It can be at times very painful. It can be exhausting. But I believe that we're being cleared, purified for the energy that must come in, and that energy cannot inhabit a divided house. It doesn't stand. Now, at the same time, so what I'm hearing, I'm just getting a little guidance around this. The same time as we divest ourselves of all the institutions and the corporations and the organizations that are a part of this system that's really breaking up now, we should always remember that we are infinite beings, and while we're here to do something, it can be very easy for us to be swayed up, or not swayed up, dragged up or dragged down by events and personalities and archetypal forces. So we may see an extreme archetypal person rise up on the planet who galvanizes everybody around him or her and really triggers everybody, triggers the shadow, triggers the ego, triggers all your blind spots. And it's in those moments that staying grounded and coherent and balanced and sure and straight in how you are going to operate is going to be a master gift. It is going to be mastery, because the house of cards needs to fall, and everything that we have previously relied upon, which has been an illusion, has to make way for a more transparent, honest, unified society that is compassionate. And this isn't just about humans. We are a small part of an ecosystem that is crying out for change, for balance, for harmony. So your relationship with nature, your relationship with what you eat, what you consume to give your life force meaning. Where does it come from? I mean, all of these things are coming up for us. And I don't know about you, but I, for one, have begun to hear a deafening silence. I'm in nature. I live in the natural world. I'm very fortunate. Most of us have access to nature. Most of us have access to park, a wood, a beach, somewhere. And I'm astounded. I've been astounded for a whole year, actually, seasonally. There's silence. There's absence and there's silence. And when that happens, you know a big shift is coming. Nature knows. There's innate wisdom in nature. It knows there's a big reset coming. And we can learn from that. We can learn from that. We can pay attention to their message, to their response to us and our chaotic way of living as a species. One species. So don't want to get all heavy, but I'm also not, I don't think we can sugarcoat what maturity and what graduating and what being a sentient lucid race that gets to get to grade 1 civilization and become that Star Trek future. We can't sugarcoat it. There's work, and the work always starts with us. So, as I've said, it ends with us. It starts with us. We are the generation. It's not about Gen Zs or Gen Alphas. We're intergenerationally all alive and aware at this time. And so, a good question to reflect on as we flip from one year to another, zone out all the doom and gloom, all the magical thinking, and just ground yourself and listen to yourself in the silence if you can. Just listen to what your soul, what your spirit is saying to you. And follow that as your cue. Because we got work to do. So we're going to be expanding a lot more with the transmissions. The beings that I work with, follow the prime directive, as do I. We don't interfere. But that doesn't mean we're not hands off. We're not discompassionate, because there are plenty of other beings who are very happy to interfere and intrude and to violate the prime directive. So we try to balance that. And speaker one, that's me. I don't get out of the way. I know some of you already know this, but I don't get out of the way. I don't channel. I'm very present. I'm very me. But through a set of circumstances that I don't fully understand, I'm able to decode a signal, a transmission that I believe comes from a benevolent group from the cosmic center itself. And I'll be sharing those in more detail. Again, not didactically, but as waves. That's pretty much how I'm going to be doing it, as waves. So just Whatever you're going to do, have a great time. And I will speak to you guys very soon.